Okay, today I'm going to talk about skinning with layered animations. So the idea is I'm going to be skinning this fish character up here, and then just using some basic animations to facilitate skinning easier. I'm going to show you a way that I like to do it, and then probably on Thursday or the next time I'm going to be taking this to Unreal Engine to just test it out using some layered per bone animation, where you can specifically target and mix in different animations to particular joints in the skeleton, which would be really cool. And these animations are going to be specifically to facilitate rig skinning, so it's not going to be game animations just yet. We'll get to that a bit later, probably only next week, I think. Alright, I've got a pre-made animation that I'm going to bring in here, but first I want to clean up this geometry here a little bit, or the grouping of it. I'm going to group the eyes. And I'm going to group the teeth geometry. I've done this before for two other fish, so it should go pretty quickly, but there's always something that may or may not work. This is very strange. Okay. That may or may not work every time. Well, that's part of this process, the development process. Okay, I'm going to save this guy as a different file name. And I'm going to bring in my rig with the skeletons and the controls from a previously exported file. So let's just quickly show you that. This control rig that I have here, control rig, ignoring the geometry. This is what I'm going to be importing. This has some animation on it, which I'm going to be importing as well. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on getting the rig set up. What makes this nice is all of these guys already have their orientation correct, or the same, which is important. When I'm going to import it, these groups are not going to be here for the controls. It's only going to be the controls themselves. That's where I exported it, I think. Okay. Let's bring that in. I think I called it FishRig MB. I'm just choosing the default options here. Okay, and I'm going to need to adjust quite a few things here, which is good. The first thing I want to do is I want to remove the namespace. I don't like this fish_rig : so I want to get rid of that quickly. Just going to use the namespace editor. So there are my different controls. I also want to just get rid of the right side controls. And also the right side of these joints, I'll do them in a second. It's just going to be the fins and the right eye. I'll do them separately just now. And now I'm going to need to position these. I'll get them into place to more closely match the geometry. For now I'm just going to hide the teeth in the eyes. I should be able to just delete all history here, it should be fine. Okay. Another thing I quickly want to do, I'm going to bring in his textures from Substance, which I did earlier in the previous videos. I'm just going to bring in the base color for this guy. I don't need anything else. So that's this guy right here. Just going to create a new folder for him here. And then I'll use that. I already have a material set up, so I should be able to just quickly change that to a textured material. And when I do bring this in, it's going to be really specular, which I don't want. Just to view it, I don't want it to be this specular. So I'm just going to drop the specular color. And the cosine power down. That's okay. It's just for viewing in this viewport for now while I'm working and skinning this up. Let's just hide this for another quick second here and just show you. It should have brought in these animation layers. These animation layers, unfortunately, when I exported them, they also included translation and scale information. As you can see, everything here on the controls are highlighted. I don't actually want that. So what I did before or earlier, I re-exported the animation on its own to an atom file using the import-export function here, which I'm not going to show now. I'll show the import in a second, and just choosing the those three attributes from the channel box: rotate, X, Y, and Z. And you can do that quite simply when you select whatever you want to export an animation for. You can choose quite a few things here, and you can also choose from channels. You can choose all keyable or from channel box. So the first time I did this, I chose all keyable. That's why I did this. So from channel box I chose the second time, and then I just selected those three and then clicked export, because for FK I don't want translation or any of that to come in. These animations themselves are nothing special. They're really just to facilitate skinning. So they'll be rotating each of the controls individually for a set amount of degrees, which you can see more clearly here. And when we start hooking them up to their bones, so there's the fins, and here's the head. Now the head actually has two sets, the lower and upper jaw. So it's the head itself that moves. It's probably better to view it here. The head itself that rotates, the head control, and then the upper and lower jaw that you can just see near the end here, and you'll see the upper jaw rotate for about 15 degrees. Very, very, very slightly. The upper jaw I usually don't want to rotate a lot. Okay, so first things first, let's get rid of these animations here. I don't want them. I'll import them just now. So let's try and just delete. That should work. And now I want to line up the joints to the geometry more closely or carefully, so I'm going to just hide my controls for a second. See what I'm working with here. This should go pretty quickly, so I'm just going to choose some joints here and just line them up. This guy I want to move a little bit back, so translation is fine as long as I don't rotate. Let's get a hold of this guy, moving a little bit back as well. And then this guy here, let's take a look, where's he at? I think he's okay there. I might move him a little bit back. Just a little bit. Let's see. Just x-ray the joints there. I'm gonna try and imagine it moving there. I think it should be okay. This part in the middle here, the fleshy part by the shoulder, or whatever you would call this, I don't know. I don't really want that to rotate too much. The head itself, this whole part here by the in front of the fins are going to be rotating. The fins themselves, this shoulder part here, is going to be able to rotate. And I think this back part here, I think that should be alright. I might just move it. No, I think it's alright. Alright, let's do a fin. I only need to do the one side and then I'll mirror it to the other side. I'm going to move it to where I think it should be rotating from. I'd like something like this. I think that's okay. And let's check this on the side views. Probably just want to drop this down a little bit. I want to be very careful not to add any rotation whatsoever to any of these joints. So I'm keeping an eye on these guys here. Even though you're just translating, sometimes bad things happen. Next I'm going to do the head, so I'm just going to hit the history here. I don't need to care about deformers, I have no deformers on here. That's my right eye. I'll do him in a second. I want to do the jaws. The head I'm just going to leave itself right there. Is the head fine? Actually the head's not fine. I need to move the head back. So yeah, it's going to cause everything to move out. So I should have probably done the head first. Let's see what we got now. I'll move this one back too. This one. These are a little bit too close together. Let's see. Something like that, maybe. So that's my root spine right there where everything joins. I think that's okay. Now I just need to reposition these again. Round about there. Okay. I'm going to switch on local rotation axis, so I can just quickly see. Let's make sure everything's still right. Okay, Give that a save. Let's do the jaws. So I want the head right here by this gill here. I think that's where I prefer the rotation to happen from. So now I'm going to position the upper jaw using a side view. Let's do the lower jaw first actually. I think that's okay. And the upper jaw. I think that's okay. And let's save that. So when I import the atom animation, because it only contains rotation, the animations will work on this modified skeleton. It's going to exclude or ignore any translation in scale. Right, for the eye, I'm going to just hide the main geo here for a second, just get the eye and just position the eye using my orthographic views. Try and get it in the middle of everything. There are other ways to do this. You could create a cluster or whatever using the points to find the geometric center. That will also work. And then just snap to that center, as long as you have something to snap to, but I think this should be fine. I could always quickly skin it up and just double check, but I know as long as it's in between these texture lines here, texture borders, it should be okay. And an important part would now be to mirror this skeleton to the other side. Just want to make sure I'm happy with this. This one is going to bend right here. Actually like him to be a little bit more back, but it's okay. We'll go with it for now. Okay, the mirror process is fairly simple. Just gonna mirror over the YZ plane, which is the plane that you see here in the lower right corner there. Y green up, X Z facing towards the fish. That's the YZ plane. So it's gonna mirror the YZ plane from X positive to X negative. So if I hit apply, and I'm choosing orientation specifically because I don't want mirrored behavior. So that's what I'm expecting. I want them to move in the same. I don't want the flapping fin behavior. And important for me now is to make sure that my local rotation axes are shown and that everything matches. So for the left eye, mirroring the left eye should give me the right eye, because I also specified find replace L underscore with R underscore, so that should be fine. Okay, so that's the skeleton done for now. Now I'm going to adjust the controls to match what I have here, and then get the animations imported and start skinning. just hiding the local rotation axis there. I don't need to see the skeleton now. I can still delete all history. I have no deformers on it. Let's do the controls. Okay, they're going to be a little bit more tricky. So I like starting from these here. So you can see the controls are just flat and into a group, and the group's already been oriented to match the orientation of my joints. So I've done that already in a previous thing, so I don't need to worry about that again. So I'm just going to scale these quickly and get them in place where I want them, or where I think I want them. As long as I don't rotate them. Actually, I can rotate them, doesn't matter. And in fact I will be rotating some of them. But the minute I do, like these guys, their orientation, if I change the orientation and the minute I flatten it, it's still going to be pointing back to the parent. So I try not to orient them too much. I mean, for a simple rig like this, it's fine. Just want to fatten that up a little bit. And try and get it a bit more snug. Something like that. Maybe a bit more this way. It's a little thick. Right, then I've got one here hidden that I need to get to. There he is. Just going to try and get him to match body as much as I can. Something to get a hold of. They start pretty close together. I don't like that, so I'm going to move him in here a little bit more and just give him some room. We'll see how that goes. Now I need the head. Head control is hiding in here somewhere. I'm going to get him aligned with the gill as best I can. Maybe a bit thicker. That's too thick. Something like that. Okay, now the fins. I could just grab the fin from here on upper arm. I can move these two together in unison just to get them out of the way. So I'm going to try and get this guy round about the shoulder, oriented toward the fin, and make him look, yeah, so he lost his orientation, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, that's fine. That'll just have to do. Okay, I'd like to get this a little thicker, but because it's non-object scale, it's on a funny, it is an object scale, but it's on a funny orientation because it's matching the bone. I could just quickly redo these. I'm actually gonna replace these with this, so I can just orient it this quickly again. Get the naming convention right, and I can drop this guy. And then this will just be the lower arm. Just quickly change the material. Left. Yeah, that's just so I can quickly work with this. Now you can imagine if this was a complex rig with a lot of controls, this would be quite time consuming. So I'd need to find a better way to do this. Maybe have one of these just floating around so I can quickly just get it in place. I think that's okay. His orientation is going to jump back now to what it was anyway, but just to get the initial fit a bit better. It's better to have them oriented towards the NURBS object itself, otherwise you get weird scaling issues. Just get the skeleton into a reference layer so I don't select it accidentally. Okay. I just want to make this a little bigger, a little thinner. I think it's too big. Alright, I'm going to use this. Move it down a little. Then I'm going to do the thing. Okay, so everything's on a reference layer except my controls. So I should be able to just select everything and freeze the transformations. Right, so now that orientation is matching the group, which is fine. I could put a spacer group in between, but I'm not going to do that. Let's get them over to the other side. All I need to do is just invert the Y axes of a duplicate, and then that should work. Just rename these to the right side and change the material, and then I'm going to start skinning it up. Okay, oh, actually I want to adjust the upper and lower jaw controls too. I don't have eye controls, I don't need them. I'm going to be controlling the eyes in game, and hopefully the head too. Actually, I'm not going to be having too much head rotation up. I need to play a little bit with getting a hold of the bones in game and applying rotation to them or animation. So that's a challenge I'm going to need to address this this weekend probably. Okay, I need to flatten those, freeze those. Not that it makes a difference because it's just translation, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to bring in the animation now from the Atom file, and that's just going to apply to the controls. So I want to start a new save. Just select the controls. Just keep an eye on my animation layers here, and I'm going to import Let's see if this works. I already have the name in there because I did it earlier. I'm choosing input method on selected, so whatever I selected here, I want their animations imported. You see there's no hierarchy here, everything is flat. And I'm just going to choose replace. So whatever it finds it should replace, and use the time range from file, even though it's going to match up what I have here, which is 200. Let's bring it in and see what happens. So it did it. Just going to hide the geometry for a second. And there's the spine, everything's working in one. So I'm just going to work on the spine animation for a second, use the spine animation. And that script I did earlier, or created earlier, that connects up rotation to the joint. So it's going to go and look for anything that I selected, which is going to be control, well, not anything I selected. It's going to look for all the controls, find their matching joints, and then hook up the controls rotation to the joint, create a group, do all that stuff, which I did in an earlier video. So if I just run this, now my controls, because they have an animation, my skeleton is going to be hooked up to the controls. And currently I just have the spine animation, so that's what I'm looking for here. And these animations serve only one purpose, and that's to facilitate rigging. It's to make my job easier to rig it up. So I'm going to do that in 1 second. Okay. I don't really need to see the controls anymore, so I'm going to hide them. And now I'm just going to be focusing on the fish in the skeleton for a second. I'm going to delete my non-deformer. Save that. So you'll see my skeleton has no animation on it. That's a connection. That connection is coming from the control. So any rotation on the control is going to affect the skeleton. And the controls themselves have the animation on them. So when I export this out to Unreal Engine, I'm just going to bake the animation down and the skeleton will get the animation. Very, very, very cool. Okay, let's hide the control. Let's do a smooth bind. There's my skeleton. I'm just going to select the root geometry, and do a smooth bind. I stick to 4, max influence is 4. I don't know if Unreal Engine's updated this to 100 or 1,000,000, I don't really care. I don't use more than 4 anyway, so I don't think it matters. If you're going to be influencing a vertex with more than 4 bones, then good luck to you. Let's smooth bind, see what happens. So now I'm going to get some stuff which I'm completely going to ignore. So my vertices have been skinned now using the smooth bind algorithm that I get from Maya. There's one in particular I really like, which is the teeth. Wow, the teeth are not showing. Let's quickly get them back. Interesting, they went to the eyes layer, the eye layer, the teeth. There we go. They're in the wrong layer. So I don't normally like to put the geometry in the layer, but yeah, you're in the wrong place, buddy. put you in the teeth layer. Just double check the eyes. For some reason, okay, there we go. Cool. I love what it does to the teeth. Just that. It looks so cool. Anyway. Let's hide the eyes, hide the teeth, hide the controls. Choose the root skeleton. You need to be able to select it. And you'll see that all the clusters here. There's obviously one for the fish geo, one for the eyes, one for the teeth. I'm going to use the paint weights, even though I'm not going to be painting a single brush stroke. I don't like using it. Okay, so you need to select the geometry that you want to affect. And then I'm going to start. First of all, I'm going to flood everything to the root spine, or to the root joint. So nothing has any influence anywhere. I'm going to lock everything down. So I can finally exactly control which joint gets what influence and by how much. And I'm currently playing all the animations, which I don't want, so I'm just going to solo the spine animation. Do these one at a time. Select the geo. Need to more or less select what do I think. The spine animation would want. And I did that wrong. Let's see. Start from here. Just expanding my selection. Also don't like that too much. That's definitely wrong. Okay, I think I can work with this. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna call that what I want. It's gonna get smoothed out in a second anyway, but definitely don't want that. Just making sure I grab one of these. Gonna call that good for now. Probably want to go a little bit further here. Yeah, not that far. Okay, let's see what I have here. Okay, I'm gonna use this Then I'm just gonna flood this too. So unlock the root spine, because everything's flooded to him, and I want this to go to this guy here. So I'm gonna unlock him and just flood everything to him. So now he's gonna get all the influence. I think I should go a little bit further here. But it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to be smoothing it anyway. Let's just expand these, see if this is good. Lock up spine 1. He has no influence over anything I've selected here. I need to go one further to the border, and that's too far. So let's just undo these quickly. Okay. 2 is locked, unlock 3. So once unlocked, the root has everything still on these selected guys over here, and flood everything to number 3. Okay. And save. I'm going to be smoothing it in a second. So that's animation on 1, or the skinning on 1, skinning on 2, and now I'm just going to do the rest here. So I need to find the border, which is right here. You can clearly see it there. And to select those are pretty simple. That should do it. And that's going to go to the tail. So lock up 3, go to the tail, unlock the tail. They're also going to the spine, so hit the tail, flood it to the tail. Alright. And now I just need to do some smoothing in between, which isn't that hard, I think. And what it would look like right now is pretty gnarly. Yeah, that's very hard, which is what you want for starting this out. Let's do some smoothing, smooth skinning here. Gonna see if I can get the border. So I'm gonna lock up 3 again. Go back to 1. There's the border right there. So let's go here and see what do we get if we select this all the way around. Goes everywhere I don't want it to. So I can't use that. I have to just quickly make this selection here. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, let's see if I can do this better. What happens if I grab this guy? Okay, I'll use this guy for smoothing. Maybe I can go a little bit closer here. Ah, okay. That's not what I wanted. Okay. I'll call this good. Expand the selection a little bit. Make sure I want to smooth the spine 1 here, spine 2, unlock him, start smoothing, expand the selection, start smoothing, smoothing more. Alright, let's see. What do we get for our troubles? That's looking a bit cooler. Not so gnarly. A little bit smoother. Okay, so you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to smooth over where the two joints meet. Pretty sure this is very common anyway, so let me find the next bone that I want to do in this hierarchy, but first save. The next bone is going to be spine 3, so now I'm going to lock down spine 1. His influence is diminished here anyway, so I'm going to head on over to 2 and 3. So I'm going to unlock 3 and just check my borders here. There we go. This is the point I'm looking for. Probably that one, to be honest. Just hit it with a expand selection there. Make sure I'm on the one I'm trying to smooth to. Very important. And I prefer to do this from the neutral pose. Hit it up. Expand the selection a few times and just repeat the process. Let's just see that. Looks better. I could obviously spend more time on this, of course. Maybe even with corrective blend shapes or bringing in breaking out the old paintbrush. But I'm happy with that. That'll work for what I want. Still need to get to the fin, so that's going to change again a little bit. Now the last guy, this guy here, number 3. So I'm gonna lock down 2, unlock tail 1, select tail 1, expand the selection and just flood to tail 1, which is this guy down here. I don't do the tips. You don't need to do the tips. Right, let's see, what do we get? It's gonna hide the skeleton here. Okay, that looks alright. Next I'm gonna move on to the fins. Show the skeleton here. So nothing's happening right now because everything's skin to spine 1. So let me choose an area that I think of influence that I think this bone should affect. I'm gonna go with something like this. It would be too far. Try and keep it small. Something like this. Maybe a little smaller. I'll do the transition as well. Same, so make sure these guys are locked. Head on over to spine 1. He's got all the influence here. Unlock him. Go to the left upper arm and just flood to him. Okay. Cool. And then let's do this guy here. to the lower arm. From spine 1. Oh, I missed something. Okay. Done. Now they need to be smoothed. It's really harsh there. And I might still run into issues when I do the head too. But you can see that's really harsh. That's too harsh. Okay, for the smoothing for this, I need to find this area here. And that's wrong. That's doing a spiral there. See what happens here. Also not what I want. Just want to make sure I didn't accidentally select anything else earlier. Okay, cool. Okay, because I went out from here. Alright. I'll just do this manually quickly and find the borders. Just looking for the vertices that are moving. Okay. Gonna smooth from here. Expand selection. Make sure these guys are locked. Lower arm. Unlock the upper arm. Smooth to the upper arm. Between the upper arm and the spine. Not spine 2, it's too far back. Expand the selection. Smooth it a bit more. Expand. Smooth it a bit more. Yeah. So let's do this guy. Just gonna find his border right there and start smoothing to 2. Lower arm 1. In this case, I want to smooth to the between these guys, the upper and the lower arm. Don't want the spine involved here. Okay. Now notice the other side's not doing anything. That skeleton's moving, but the geometry is not doing anything, so I'm just going to mirror the skin weights. I'm using YZ from positive X to negative X. Closest point on surface, I find, yeah, it's fine. That's the trick. Doesn't always work though. Really doesn't always work. You could use joint labels, skeleton labels. For a simple rig like this, I wouldn't. Okay. Next I'm going to do the head. So so we have the spine and the fins working now. And if they work together, hopefully they don't look too weird. There's a little bit of crashing there. That's okay. Yeah, he's a fatty. Okay. The head. Head animation just swivels to the side, opens lower jaw and upper jaw. Lower jaw 60 degrees or something crazy, and the upper jaw just 15. Upper jaw generally I don't normally rotate anyway, not for a game. You know, I'm not doing cinematics and close-ups and things like that. Okay. So select the geo, find about where I want to go. I want everything, including the mouth, to go to the head. Just see how far I get with a selection like this. Not crazy about that. Too much work to get it back. Choose the old lasso, whatever. Okay, I think I can make this work. Just here's more. I missed. Okay. Mouth should be all selected. And then I want to try and get to that texture border. Okay, cool. Also, I need to know more or less. Cool, I haven't done anything here. So unlock the spine, go for the head. So I can find it, unlock, float to the head. Cool. Now the spine has no more influence there, which is what I wanted. Ooh, a little bit of red there because it's going to the shoulder. Whoa. Okay, I was expecting problems here, but okay. My previous model had serious crashing. It's crashing anyway. Crashing through the fins. This is doing it too, but you can't see the fins through the gills, which is good. So I don't really care. It's not like it's going to be doing physics checks or anything like that on geometry level. We use capsules for that, so it won't be a problem. It's just going to look nasty. So let's get some smoothing in here. Delete non-deformer, save. Get some smoothing in here. Probably shouldn't smooth yet because I still need to do the jaws, but I want to smooth it now and get it over with. I'm just going to smooth to the head, between the head and the spine, because that's where the most. And I'll start seeing messages as soon as I hit the shoulder where I've hit the upper arm. Interesting. Okay. That's not too bad. You can see where it's turning black there, it's crashing. You would fix those probably with corrected blend shapes or skin it better. You can always skin it better. You could spend so much time skinning. You could spend so much time doing everything. But we all have deadlines. We all gotta make it happen. The next thing I want to do is the jaws. So you'll see that the lower skeleton drop down there, nothing's happening. The upper skeleton there, the upper jaw. So I need to hook those up too. I'm quite happy with the. You can see a lot of shearing here, texture shearing. Right. You could smooth this out further, I guess. see if we combine these. What do we get? No, it's not too bad. But yeah, the shearing there is pretty bad. You can see the textures there. Shearing as well. Probably would be rotating the head about this much in game. Probably not much more than this, if this much. But yeah, I think that's because I want to try and hit the direction of the direction of the rotation as he turns. I might even do up and down as well. So if I just show the control here for a second, the head control, and just rotate the head down. That's not terrible shearing up there. Yeah, it's not horrible, but that's bad. That's bad right there. Hopefully he's gonna be chasing you, so I don't know how much time we're gonna have to look at his underside. I think he's gonna be chasing you most of the time anyway. But yeah. Let's lock those other two animations down again. Focus on the head, on the jaws. The mouth's always tricky. Yeah, this mouth's gonna be tricky. I'm just gonna do a sweep here. The lasso. Try and get as much upper jaw as I can. Maybe even a bit more. That might be too much. Yeah, something like that. Okay. And skin it up to the... Ooh, there's lower mouth there. I don't want lower mouth. Was it? I'll fix him up now. Okay, so lock down the head. Make sure spine's unlocked. You can see spine's locked rather, sorry. Unlock the head because everything's flooded to the head. Hit the upper jaw, unlock the upper jaw. Let's see what happens. I want to flood this to the upper jaw. Let's get it open. Right, let's see what we're missing here. Yeah, we're missing a few. These here. Okay. Let's flood these to the upper jaw as well. Okay, cool. Now I'm getting some mouth opening here, which is good. Now let's do the lower jaw. Save. Lasso, whatever. Try and do something like that. Now this might not go as planned because I'm missing some stuff down here and I've really got an odd selection. But I do know how to fix that. But I really don't want. I don't want these in here. I really don't. That's just looking for trouble. We'll get to them in a second anyway. Okay. Let's flood that to the lower jaw. I'm going to leave the upper jaw unlocked for this, and the head as well. Let's get that going to the upper jaw. Lower jaw, sorry. Ooh, that was the wrong jaw. Really? Yeah, that was the wrong one. I'm supposed to go to the lower jaw. There we go. Okay, and we've got some stuff here to fix. Just gonna select these, which is basically the whole mouth. Start smoothing it a bit. Just want to get a nicer selection here. That's too far. Let's see, maybe I can do this a little different. Mouth's always tricky. Actually really wanted the inside of the mouth too. That's okay. Let's just start smoothing this out. See what happens. It's going to bounce around between the upper and lower jaw. This is a little sneaky, but sometimes it works. Okay. Let's quickly do the teeth and the eyes. And then I'll come back to the mouth in just a second. Teeth and the eyes are super easy because they're not they can basically be rigid bound. So I'm just gonna make sure everything's unlocked, and I'm just gonna flood it to the right bone. That's the left eye. Select all vertices, that's the right eye, flooded to there. Really simple. Upper teeth, same story. Make sure everything's unlocked. Just flood that to the upper jaw. And flood this guy to the lower jaw. Alright. So they'll be moving along there. I don't have any animation for the eyes. I don't need to. Not now anyway. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's breaking up here, which is bad. This needs to be smoothed a lot more to the, probably to the lower jaw. So I could just do this manually quickly to see what happens. Lower jaw. Just want to make sure everything's locked. Again, probably want to unlock the head the lower jaw, the upper jaw, smooth to the lower jaw. See if I can fix the shearing. It's getting worse. Okay, then let's do it to the other one. Yeah, it makes it even worse. It's thinning out there. Let's see, am I really going to open it up that wide? The minute I even go this wide, it goes through here. It's really close to that lip, I think that's the problem. Teeth are really close to that lip to begin with. I could fix that by moving them back a little bit. I don't like that. Could fix it with a corrective blend shape as well. I'm not going to do that though, because I want to save the blend shapes for my character customization rather, so I can have a bit more random look. So let's try this. Let's mirror over the skin weights. It's not too bad. Might need to come back to this. See if I can maybe just affect these guys here. I don't know if I can. I'm going to try. Definitely makes it worse. Yeah. Let's try something else. We'll try and move the teeth back a little bit. Not sure if it's going to help really. They might just be thinning out too much. But I think they're just a little bit too far forward. Let's see. The quickest way would just be to unbind the skin. And now this guy's loose. Might have to do the same for this guy here. Let's see. Just moving them back a little bit. Then we're going to rebind them again. And then I'll just quickly do the assignment back of the vertices of skinning. That's going to go to the upper jaw. This is going to go to the lower jaw. Right. Maybe it made no difference whatsoever. Yeah, there we go. But now you can see more gums. It's not crashing through there, which is fine. You can always fix that up with the blend shape. I'd probably not go much further than this anyway. And it'd be a bit of a snarl up here. So I haven't fixed the upper jaw yet. So these teeth are a little bit too far back. I'll take it. Let's fix the upper jaw. Gonna delete non-deformer and save. Well, these are not too, shouldn't be too hard to fix. Just need to find the points where I think I can start smoothing from. And then I'm just gonna smooth. Using the same trick I've been using all along. So these are mostly going to the head and probably the upper jaw. There's the upper jaw there. The lower jaw has a little bit of influence here. I'm going to unlock him too. But I want to smooth to the upper jaw here. Oops. Smooth, not flood, replace. Right. I get more of that. Oof, the eyes. The eyes will be hopefully done with blend shapes. Now there's a problem. That shouldn't have gone to the lower jaw. I'm just gonna open this up again. It's gonna be faster to just redo this. And just completely omit the lower jaw from the equation. Okay, I think this is going to be faster. If I just do this. Okay, let's go back. Lock everything again. Unlock the head and just unlock the upper jaw. This time I'm just going to completely ignore the lower jaw. I hope. Okay, cool. That's it. I would never open the upper jaw up this much, and the teeth are too far back. So far back you can see his eyes sticking through there. So typically I would only open up the mouth about that, probably about that much, maybe even not that much. Up there. As long as you think about the attack animations for these guys, these are obviously all just animations that I had to do for getting the rig here. I don't consider these rigs to be done, or the skinning to be done, for that matter. But I do have to stop somewhere. I can't just carry on forever. So that deformation is not horrible. It's not perfect, but it's not horrible. I would probably use that now. Not all of his body is actually moving, but that's going to go into the spine animation, the root animation itself, root bone or whatever. That's fine. and then I have his upper jaw here and his lower jaw here. And I could twist his head if I wanted to. And you can see it's breaking a little bit here. So I think that's a little bit too much for the upper jaw. Let's bring him down just a little bit. And yeah, it's breaking down here. I also created another function here in Python just to reset all the controls rotation to 0, so when I hit that everything just jumps back to 0. Just want to make sure I've mirrored the skin mates over. Okay, cool. I think that's it. Now for the next one, we're going to be bringing this into Unreal Engine with this test animation and creating layered per bone animations. I'm going to be exporting the rig and the skeleton by itself, and then I'm going to be exporting each one of these animations on their own and then combining them into one in Unreal Engine, so I can test layered per bone animation, so I can make sure my animations are working and targeting the correct bones in Unreal Engine. Cool. Yeah, the upper jaw breaks pretty quickly, so I wouldn't rotate him too much. This guy should be a little bit more robust. He's breaking a little bit there. I should smooth him a bit more. You can see over there he's breaking. I could get away with it though, because most of the time you're going to be looking at him like this and he's coming at you, whatever. So yeah, till next time. Thank you very much for watching.